Hey guys, I'm Cyrex, and in this video me and my friend Diamond Ninja are going to survive a zombie apocalypse, and we had 3 objectives. First, scavenge enough items from the old world to survive the endless blood moon. Second, build a tier 4 base to protect against the zombie hordes. And third, find and repair a helicopter to escape the apocalypse. Will we make it? Will we survive? Tune in to find out. As me and my friend joined the server, it was morning, and we found ourselves in the middle of an abandoned city. We were on top of a bridge, and looking down, I already saw a couple of zombies encircling us both. So without wasting any time, we decided to jump off. And our first task was to get tools that would make our survival a lot easier. So we started chopping down trees and ran inside one of the buildings. And then we crafted a wooden pickaxe and a sword. There was a ladder that went to the bottom of the building, and we decided to descend and dig from there to get us some stone for better tools. And after a short break, we decided to continue our journey to escape the city before the night falls. Because at night there would be big hordes and we did not want to fight them. And as we ran through the city, we saw some vines on one of the sides of the buildings. We used them to climb up, and when they ended, my friend started placing cobblestone blocks to help us climb to the roof. And as soon as we got up, there was a zombie waiting for us. After killing it and exploring the rooms, I found a chest, and inside were diamonds and gold. It was also getting pretty late, so we decided to stay the night on this rooftop, because we didn't want to get swarmed by a horde of zombies. As morning came, I looked around and decided to get us some more wood before we continue our journey, but while jumping down and collecting it, my friend shouted that he was getting attacked by a bunch of zombies, so I quickly climbed up back to the roof using the vines from before, and crafted myself a diamond sword with 2 diamonds I found in the chest yesterday. Coming down the vines, I saw him in the open streets, and coming closer, I killed all the zombies attacking him. And once we were safe, we began running again. The city felt empty. There were only zombies and animals now, and it felt kind of unsettling. Big tall buildings just everywhere we went, and not a single soul alive. We were getting nearly out of the city, but we still saw a lot of zombies everywhere. I then saw a chest inside one of the buildings. Breaking the glass to get to it, I found diamonds inside. This was a really lucky drop, as usually city chests have pretty bad loot inside, like apples and melon seeds. And getting diamonds for the second time now meant we were on a lucky streak. But nevertheless, we persevered on, and as the sun was setting, we finally saw some green fields. This meant we were getting closer to escaping this city, and our plan was to build a base in some field where we had easy access to wood, animals, and also a clear view of any zombies coming closer to our base. And while we were on the outskirts of the city, we saw some chickens. This was really useful not only for getting some cooked meat, but also eggs the chickens dropped. This would allow us to have a chicken farm in the future. We also decided to chop down a tree because our wood supply was getting low. Even a task such as this was quite dangerous, as we had to watch our backs for any zombies creeping up. And the wood was also extra hard to get because most of the trees in this world were extra reinforced and didn't break easily with bare hands. We needed an axe to chop them down, so yeah, this was one of the many mods that made surviving in this world pretty difficult. But as it was getting pretty late, we decided to make a little camp in one of the buildings that was pretty close to us. We were still on the outskirts of the city, so we decided to spend the night in a safe room instead of somewhere in the forest open area, where zombies could attack us at any moment we slept. I collected an anvil I saw in one of the rooms, went further in and killed a zombie we found inside. I then saw I needed 1 more cobblestone block for a furnace, so while digging for it, a zombie fell onto my head. I don't know how it got past my friend guarding me, but we were definitely surprised. But after crafting the furnace, I took a look outside as the zombies were encircling us. One of the other things these zombies did was they followed light. They were attracted by sound and light. And us firing up the furnace made a lot of them wait outside by the window. My friend placed some beds for us to sleep in, and I crafted us some gold helmets, because this is all the gold I had from the chests. But we couldn't sleep because there were monsters nearby, and even while we tried to kill them, just more came around. and spending the night just listening to the zombie screams. As dawn hit, we collected our beds, the furnace I made, and started heading out again. We knew we were really close to leaving the city, but we still had to be really careful not to run across a horde of them, as they were common in the city. Inside one of the houses we found some iron bars. We collected them because our plan was to build a big defense wall around our base so we had a safe area to grow crops and animals. And going outside, I even came across some sugar canes. In a zombie apocalypse where animals were scarce, growing your own food was the key to survival. And going deeper into the forest, fighting off the zombies, we found ourselves in an open field. There were so many of them that we had to build up to survive this wave. And because the night was setting in, I felt we had to spend the night here as zombies had a lot more health at night. But yeah, our plan was to make a temporary base on one of the trees. I didn't have any more materials to build up to it, so I had to make a dangerous plan of going down and picking up the loot my friend dropped, and then building myself up to him. And as we made it to the top of the tree and placed down a furnace, my friend said that this would be a perfect place to build the base. And he was right. This place had an open field, trees, even a pond. So our next plan for the next day would be to get a fence barrier that would surround our base and keep the zombies away. And to achieve that, when the morning hit, we quickly jumped down and started sprinting to the closest buildings. We used our pickaxes to mine as many stone walls as we could. Zombies wouldn't be able to jump over them, and that meant our base would be safe. And while mining for the walls, I had to keep an eye out on the zombies as they were coming from every direction. I also went inside one of the buildings to see if it had any loot inside. But down in the cellar there was a zombie, and he got me so low I nearly died. I had to run back to my friend and get some food as I didn't have any that would help me generate my health back. This was a really tense moment because I was a one shot for any zombie I came across, and I didn't even have a shield. When we got back to the field, it was raining and there were a ton of zombies waiting for us. It was really dangerous to start building, so we had to do it fast. So while my friend was planting the fences, I started putting down the blocks for a shelter. The zombies screeching in the background. When I ran out of planks, I had to go chop down another tree. Thank God we had physics in this world and destroying one block would bring the whole tree down. But it wasn't that easy because I tried breaking it a few times with no luck. I needed to stay away from the zombies, but there were just too many of them. And upon going back to the base, I found it was overrun. The zombies had jumped over a dirt block right into our base. A load of zombies engulfed us, and we were trapped. And to reclaim our base, I broke out our last defense barrier, resealed the hole, and killed the last zombies. We were safe again, so after cleaning up the stone walls, I decided to continue building the house. I had a vision of this big mansion that was 3 stories tall, but for that we would need a lot of wood, so for the time being, we made do with a small shelter to keep us from the rain. But it was getting pretty late, and my friend decided that for us to sleep, he would start digging a bunker. This way we would be far away from the zombies, so that we could fall asleep. And because killing all of them was not an option because the waves are endless, the bunker worked flawlessly, and we were able to end this day finally with a proper night's sleep. Something that was a rare occurrence in this world. And in the morning, we came up and saw the sun was shining. You could say it was a pleasant day if you don't count the 50 screaming zombies at our barrier, all wanting to eat our brains. I crafted myself an axe, we started smelting some more, and I jumped out to try and get some wood again. And this time was really successful because the axe was able to make the tree fall down. It seemed a wooden axe was not good enough, but an iron one worked really well. We got it from mining our bunker as well as some coal. But unfortunately, I began hitting the second tree and the zombies just became too overwhelming, and I couldn't dodge from their attacks like I did with the tree before. So with 8 wooden blocks, I returned to base. This indeed was a ruthless and difficult world. Even gathering some wood was a nightmare. But nonetheless, I decided to break down one of the walls and make the house wider. We had space and we had to think bigger. Living in a small hut would mean we're letting the zombies win, so thinking bigger was the key. Our final plans for the base were to make it a safe haven for other survivors, an Eden where everyone would have space to live and food to eat from the farms we would make inside the compound. The renovations were taking quite some time because it was difficult to build with the zombies around, but I think killing them was starting to decrease their numbers. There weren't more coming and I think that meant we were actually clearing the whole place out. That felt good and meant we still had a chance. While I also placed some chicken in the furnace to cook, I jumped over again to gather some wood. I got the hang of it now, but then I got too greedy and some zombies took me down to really low health. Too hard. I didn't have any more food and my only way to survive was to get back to base. We definitely would need armor and some shields to survive these zombies. Golden helmets were not enough. So after killing more zombies, we started to expand our base. It was difficult as these brain eaters just got so much in the way, but slowly and surely we began covering more ground. If we could close this area in and clear all the zombies inside, we would have so much space for farming and livestock. And once we were ready, I killed the zombies inside and opened up our little area to this massive new land expansion. I think in a world like this, land is actually more valuable than diamonds. So yeah, I think we hit the jackpot securing this. And after I gathered some seeds to plant for the wheat to grow, I didn't waste any time and started building an area for the farm. We had 2 ponds, so that meant we didn't have any water problems. But I knew food was going to run out sometime and we had to act before it did. As I started planting the seeds, this felt like a really big milestone. We had land, we had shelter, even a bunker. We had a farm to keep us from starving. This was really good progress and I felt we just completed the basic steps for surviving in a zombie apocalypse. The zombies also somehow got in through the barrier, but I think it was because we didn't light the place up with torches properly. Even if there was a little bit of darkness, the zombies would spawn because they were set to the nightmare difficulty. The amount of them also lining up to the barrier we made was astonishing. I don't think we would survive this much zombies in the city if we didn't have a safe place of some sort. Like with this much zombies, even armor won't help. We also didn't have a fence on this side of the base because we had a natural barrier, which was pretty cool. I crafted some torches because it was getting pretty late and we didn't want any mega strong zombies spawning in our base while we slept. The bunker was also open without any doors, so yeah, we needed to make sure that the place was well lit before going to bed. And the next day, we decided to adventure into the forest until we find lava. It took us some time exploring, but we found an open pool. There were still zombies around, so we developed a tactic where we'd fill up the lava buckets, build up, and then fill our backpacks with it, before going down again and repeating the whole thing. The backpacks we had proved really useful, as it would take so much more time for us to get all the lava we needed if we didn't have the space in our backpacks to store it. After we were done, we started heading back. And when it became morning, we decided to expand our farm by making a little place for the chicken eggs we collected while running outside for lava. Throwing all the eggs we had, we only got 2 chickens, but I saw an egg outside the barrier. I decided to go get it because our chick numbers were pretty low and we needed all we could get. And when throwing it, it actually spawned a new chick. This was really lucky. I then collected the wheat that we planted earlier. Because my friend found more diamonds, he made himself diamond pants, and I had to still run around in iron. But nevertheless, this was a big achievement, and we definitely could take on a lot more zombies now. We could also start doing expeditions for supplies and anything we can find further from the base, because now we could fend for ourselves if anything comes to worst. But after crafting all this stuff, it was getting pretty late, so we decided to end the day by descending into the bunker and sleeping. And in the morning, I got some seeds from the chest and fed the chickens. We had more of them now, but still not enough to rely on them as our main food source. So we decided to do an expedition and jumped over the fence to head into the city. We chose to explore the closest street to us because we haven't been there yet, and it was pretty cool because one of the towers had vines growing on the side, and we could use them to climb right to the roof. When on the top, I saw our base and it was really amazing with all the progress we made. We could see the little house, the pond, the farm, even the lava lake surrounding it. So we started to gather the iron bars on the roof because remember, we wanted to build a giant fence around our compound. And then we went inside the building. There was nothing inside, and to get to the neighboring tower, I decided to break the glass. And looking down, I saw a really big drop. This was really awesome as little things like this could end our game just like that, and I felt this added interesting things to our expeditions. Like, not only could we die from being mauled by zombies, but also from falling off these giant buildings. As we explored deeper into the tower, we found rooms filled with zombies and different things. Not a single floor had any light because the electricity got cut off when the apocalypse started. And it was pretty spooky walking around in tall abandoned buildings fighting off zombies. I collected some books because we had an enchanting table and I wanted to enchant our swords and bows to do something like a knockback effect. And as we continued exploring, we grabbed everything we could use to fortify our base and help us survive. The buildings also had this uneasy feeling. I couldn't describe it, but it definitely felt like they had something missing. Like it felt empty, that only me and my friend were going through them. But making our way outside, we ran into one of the buildings, and inside we found a chest which had the biggest jackpot ever. There were so many diamonds, we could craft ourselves full sets of armor and still have much more left over. We decided this was a good enough haul and started making our way back to base. It was also getting late, and going back we encountered more zombies. But all geared up, we could now defeat them more easily, although we were still scared of coming across any big hordes. And as we got back, my friend put up a ladder for a second floor. He built the walls and I placed down the enchanting table. I then went downstairs to craft us the bookshelves. And as I placed them down, my friend made the roof only 2 blocks in height, so we actually had to redo it because I wanted a 3 block in height area for us to enchant our gear. But regardless, we went to sleep and then woke up to the sound of burning zombies. It was pretty interesting just watching them burn. The lava trig was so worth it because now they didn't stack outside our base that much. I also crafted us the diamond armor, and when we finally had our full sets, we started enchanting them. But anyways, since we got back to the base late yesterday, I decided to put all the junk I had in the chest now. We fed the chickens and then had a brilliant idea. We decided to make an XP farm. Since we had full diamond sets and even an enchanting station now, getting XP to craft insane enchants would be really awesome. We scouted out a place, I crafted 2 buckets to collect water from one of our ponds, and jumped over the fence to try and put the lava in this area out. But fighting up zombies, I got overwhelmed pretty quickly and had to fall back. But once I got back, my friend already started digging out an underground tunnel where the XP farm would be. I started helping him, but we both knew that this would take a while. We both didn't make any XP farms for years now, so we were pretty rusty with this. But slowly but surely, the place was starting to take shape. We drained the lava and made a pond area where the zombies would get flushed into our pit and get stuck on the iron bars. The thing was already working pretty well when we haven't even finished it yet. But then we made a mistake and the zombies started bursting out of a hole. It was a miscalculation from our part, and a deadly one at that. I started frantically building them in, but it was difficult because they just kept pushing out and I couldn't place any blocks. But as I was defending my friend's bag, he placed the final block and we plugged the hole. This was a major disaster, but we managed to survive. From one side it was great because it showed how much zombies we were able to catch, but from the other side we never wanted for something like this to happen. We were both lucky we plugged the hole, or the whole compound would have to be built off and cleaned one by one again. And as I went back to our base, I decided to craft myself something better than a sword. It was called a diamond halberd, and it did 14 attack damage compared to the 9 the diamond sword did. It was a little slower, but I think in a zombie apocalypse, the faster you kill the guys, the better. I also made 2 diamond shields for both me and my friend, because I don't know how we were at this stage without them. Like, this should have been made on day 1. But we just couldn't get them. I tested it out on a zombie while my friend continued renovating the XP farm. I can't tell you how many tries it took us to get it working properly. The zombies would always get stuck in every spot possible and not go down the sinkhole. And once I gave my friend the shield, we both looked awesome. I was fully geared out and my weapon looked really cool. This wasn't Neverite, but still the protection this gave us was insane, and we could finally take on more zombies. I also noticed the zombies would sometimes stay on the surface and not go down into your XP farm, and it turned out because they were attracted to the torches on the top of the wall I placed earlier. Zombies were attracted to light and sound, so that's why we kept losing some's attention. But anyways, once we got the farm done, we decided to celebrate by spending so much time just killing the mobs. It also worked really well. You had to take them out and once in a while come up on the platform and you'd get all the XP they drop. It wasn't the best design, but it worked. As we went to sleep at the end of the day, we were greeted by a surprise in the morning. I saw some ice forming in one of our ponds, and this meant the winter was coming, and then all of a sudden it started snowing. This was awesome as it meant the zombies would be less active. The freezing temperatures worked in our favor, and not to miss this chance we decided to pack for another expedition. And as we started running, the snow didn't stop. It was like a blizzard. It was also pretty dark. The streets of the city were starting to look white and it was really pretty. So fighting off the zombies, we went inside houses and looted anything they had, but we had to make sure we wouldn't freeze to death as well, and that meant we had to be quick about looting this time. I saw some sheep and decided to gather some wool, because I don't think we'd be able to make it in time back to base. Because it was snowing, we also couldn't see where the sun was, and that meant we didn't know what time it was, so if it started to get dark, we'd need to find shelter quick. One of the houses had a ton of zombies. We saw a spawner and I remembered I had that Silk Touch pickaxe in my backpack. When I got it out to mine the spawner, it just disappeared. I think the server settings were set so that the spawners couldn't be mined. This was a bummer, but we still persevered on. And then we came across some type of glass building. Once inside, it looked really empty, but also massive. I think this was something like a Google or Apple showroom. There was nothing on the top floor, but it was still pretty cool to see. As we continued our expedition, it was starting to get dark. Thankfully, I had enough wool for 2 beds, but we still needed to find a proper shelter. Breaking some windows and fighting off a few zombies, we climbed up the ladder, and as we traversed the rooftops, we decided to stop under one of the small roofs. We didn't want to sleep on any floors because the zombies could be hiding anywhere, so a roof was a safe choice. I crafted us 2 beds and laid them down, and since the storm cleared we had better visibility, and we saw a pack of zombies on the other side of a building. They were looking at us, but nevertheless we went to sleep. And in the morning, as the sun rays started hitting us, we had a look around the city to see anything, and I saw a helicopter on one of the roofs. This was big. So we took some practice shots to better our aim. And then headed down the building to get to that heli. But as we were going down, I fell into an underground opening. It was filled with zombies and I had to fight to survive. My friend at the same time shouted he was also trapped somewhere underground, but he was somewhere else. I decided to fight off the zombies and went to find and help him. And once we were both safe, we continued traversing the city again. One of the buildings had a weird room filled with water. I don't know how that happened, but imagine if we made our base in one of these tall buildings and had that big room as a big fish tank. That'd be pretty sick. But nonetheless, we fought off the zombies along the way and continued through this now frozen wasteland. Our goal, to find the crashed helicopter site. And as we got to the base of the tower we saw it on, we broke inside and climbed the ladder. And there it was. This was our ticket out of here. The only thing that could save us. But it had missing components. There were no seats to sit in, no engine, and also no motor. We knew that this would be difficult, but we decided to try and find the missing components. I built a bridge across to a close building. And descending it, I started looting chests. We needed to find those components if we wanted to live. But as it got to night time, we saw a pond of lava in the middle of the city. It was right beside a little pond of water, and since this would be the easiest obsidian we could get, we decided to mine it not to miss this opportunity. And as it was getting late, we decided to break into a close building right beside us. There were a ton of zombies on the ladder waiting for us, but as we cleared them, we went up and decided to make base on one of the floors of the building. Blocking off all the doors so no zombies would get in, I tried to make this floor as comfy for the night as I could. The view wasn't great, so we quickly went to sleep to continue our journey the next day. And as the morning rose, my friend decided to break a window and pour lava onto the zombies beneath us. I then jumped off onto the roof below and we continued on our journey. We found a really deep hole in the ground and my friend pushed some zombies inside. And as we continued on, when going inside another building, I found a chest inside, and this one had a motor inside. This was the engine for the helicopter. We decided this was a good enough haul for this expedition and that we needed to return to base, so we started running back. But because the journey to the helicopter was already long, and not just that, but we also went deeper even to find the helicopter parts, this was a really long trek back home. And on the way back we saw again the frozen lakes of the early winter and also the orange leaves of the late autumn. This setting added a lot of more feeling to this world than just the plain green biome. And I think that's because with these seasons the world felt more alive. And once we got back to base, I gathered wheat from our garden and killed some chickens for food. It was starting to get dark again, so we decided to sleep this night. And in the morning I crafted some flint and steel because we wanted to make a nether portal. We pretty much wanted to brew some potions because we had a stand from one of the expeditions, and we also wanted to get some mining materials for our base idea we planned earlier. So as we got ready and went inside, I saw a temple in the distance. Straight away we went there because that's where we would get our blaze powder. But on our way there, we got attacked by a ghast. And as we got closer to the temple, I saw a swarm of wither skeletons as well as blazes swirling fireballs at us. There were so many, it was quite difficult, but we pushed on. I don't know why there were so many, but I got dropped to really low HP and decided to eat my only gold apple. This would help at that time, but I found myself being at a really low HP again just minutes after. and to survive I tried digging a tunnel in one of the walls. But fighting the blazes, we got to their spawner and then went exploring deeper. There were a lot of wither skeletons everywhere. As I explored, I found some onyx ore. This was really good as it was better than diamond and slightly worse than netherite, but the netherite was really rare compared to onyx. And I also collected some burning rocks, because I thought they'd be useful in defense. We could replace them with lava and then they'd all burn down slowly, because with the lava some of the zombies wouldn't jump in. It was pretty rare, but we still could improve the design a bit. Some glowstone to light up our base even more, because we still had an occasional zombie spawn inside our compound. And as we made our way back to the portal, we fought off some ghasts. But finally finding it, we got back to our base, and once we were back, it was already dark. And in the next morning I made some more chests for us to store all our loot. I also enchanted my awesome weapon with a flame effect, and my friend made a full onyx armor set. We only had enough for one, so I stayed in diamond. We also decided it was time to let the chickens run loose a little, and expanded their cage to a much bigger one. This way they had all the room to run around and be active. Sheer number that spawned. Our pond was really quickly just overflowing. We didn't know that it would not have enough capacity for this much zombies. So what we did was pour a lava bucket in there. This way the zombies would still get killed, but we didn't get any XP. I mean, it's reasonable because we were already pretty high level and we also didn't feel like killing zombies for an hour. That would not be time spent wisely. And as soon as we waited over the night, we began working on the house again. We really wanted to finish the space up before doing anything. And I feel the Blood Moon Night helped us in that regard, because we were trapped in our base. So I started working on the roof of the house, as we didn't want more than 3 floors. It was only for us two and we didn't take that much space. I also helped out my pal Diamond Ninja in killing some zombies, as he was improving our defense system, and seeing how I landed these shots, I was pretty proud because I'm not always that good with a bow. And when I got them all down, I continued working on the roof. The base was starting to take shape and it looked just awesome. If you're also watching this video and want to tell us what we should build in the next one, drop a comment down below, as we're gonna be making a part 2 really soon and we're going to cover 200 days. But yeah, nearly done with the house. Diamond Ninja said that he wanted to beef up the security systems by building up some defense turrets. This sounded awesome and I waited patiently while he learned the crafting recipes to craft them. He told me all we needed was iron and redstone. And we had a lot of that. So when he dropped me some materials, I had the honor of crafting us bullets. And oh boy, did they not take any materials to craft at all. I mean, just look at my inventory. This was wild and just too much ammo for one turret. But once we picked up just the right spot for the turret, we placed it down, and I think this location was the best as there were always zombies stagging here. We had 3 places like this around our base and we thought it'd be pretty cool to cover them with these turrets, so that when the zombies would appear again, they'd just be killed right away. But yeah, turning on the turret, it started blasting a zombie close by, and holy moly did this thing pack a punch. It legit looked so awesome, and because it was automated, it didn't need anything but redstone for fuel and ammo to shoot. It also worked so good that we decided to plant more of them around the base. They would be a good zombie detergent, so while my friend did that, I decided to decorate the nether portal a little. I placed some netherrack and lit it on fire, and soon enough our turrets were done. We placed them around the full perimeter of the base where we usually had a large number of zombies gathering, and they worked so awesome. This was like a real zombie apocalypse with a fully pimped out zombie base. But yeah, on the next day, I decided to craft some iron bars. We had a lot of iron and we thought that it was finally time to build a proper tall fence, real The Walking Dead style. When I gave half of the bars to Diamond Ninja, we began reinforcing the walls, because as days would increase, the difficulty of them would also. And we really didn't want them to break the stone walls that easily, but once we were done it looked so awesome. I made sure the turrets had space to shoot, so in their cone of vision the fence didn't reach as high. We also wasted nearly all of the iron we had. It was good that I accidentally crafted a whole bank of ammo for our turrets, or else we'd have to go mining for it. But all in all, the base felt a lot more safer after these renovations. And for our next goal, we wanted to go back to the heli crash site, but we also needed the final part for the heli, the engine. We didn't know if we'd find it, but we had to go and try. So starting our expedition, we swam through a pond and started climbing a hill. Upon entering the city, I saw a big hole in one of the buildings. It was deep and we thought it must have happened when the zombie outbreak just began. But breaking into the building in front of me, we climbed up the ladder to the roof. It was raining and the zombie was waiting there to attack us, but we made quick work of him. We climbed up the roof to see our surroundings better, because coming across a horde of zombies, even our diamond and onyx armor wouldn't save us. But after so long on the road, we decided to camp inside one of the buildings. This one had a deep hole in the ground as well, and it was pretty cool that when you dropped the torch inside, it would illuminate the walls as it fell and you could just see how deep it was. If we fall into a hole like this, we'd be instantly dead, because we don't have any fall damage potions or gear to prevent it. As we also camped out on the roof, we saw a green tree growing on another building. It had zombies on it too. And after firing a couple of shots, we wanted to see if the tree would catch on fire from our flaming arrows. Sadly it didn't, but it was still worth a try. And without wasting any more energy, we slept the night. And on the next day we found ourselves already getting really close to the crashed helicopter. We had nearly all the components ready, and it felt surreal that we were so close to actually having a flying vehicle that could take us anywhere. Like, this meant we'd be able to find more survivors, place markers and signs for people around different cities to tell them that, hey, we're alive and we're located here. And yeah, all these opportunities just made this journey so worth it. But going inside the buildings and fighting off the zombies and looting the chests, we were getting closer to that final destination. I mean, we scaled the high rises jumping from different rooftops, killing spawners and walking through the old world that was before. Like, here we were in a library because it had all these books, and we knew our duty was to survive. Things like these gave us motivation to keep going and find other survivors. And the road was long. We had to be careful of any zombies creeping up too close, but I had my trusty big axe so I could defend myself if any came too close. We also saw so many areas on this expedition, like new landmarks that we didn't traverse before. It was awesome seeing everything, especially with how it now looked since everything was abandoned and overrun by zombies. And killing the zombies we came across on our road, we felt really powerful with our onyx and diamond armor sets. Although we were lucky to find the diamonds, I think it was a really good idea to go into the nether as well, to craft at least one of us some onyx armor, as it was a big upgrade compared to diamond armor. And that meant my friend Diamond Ninja could defend us in more dangerous situations. This also meant I had most of the gold apples we had crafted, because I didn't want to die. But going inside one of the buildings, I found a chest which had a GET700 turbo shaft engine, and this was the last missing piece for us to fully get the helicopter flying again. I think it was also the most rarest because we got it last and it took so much time. Like, I was nearly ready to give up and head back home, but then we got it. We also found a boomerang inside, and it was pretty awesome because it did damage when returning. Like, it changed the direction it was going mid-air, and it did damage to my friend when he didn't even expect it. The thing was pretty cool. But we now had all the components for the helicopter, and we knew we were close to it. So without any more breaks, we decided to make a sleepless marathon of getting there. And on day 100 we find it. I put all the parts in the correct place, and start the engine. It takes some time, but we start lifting into the air. We couldn't believe it still worked. It was awesome, and it was time for us to return to our base, gear up for a really long journey, and then use this helicopter to find other survivors. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, then subscribe to the channel. My name is I'm Cyrex, and I hope you truly enjoyed this video. My friend Diamond Ninja also made a video from his point of view, which you can find on his channel. He spent some extra days alone fighting some rare bosses, and also managed to get trapped for a few days on one of the buildings, only for me to come and save him. His channel will be in the description. You can check him out and give him your support as well, as it took a really long time to make this journey, but we did it for you. And we hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.